Hello, everybody, and welcome back. Well, welcome back. This is actually our first time doing this. We're doing things a little bit differently from now on. We thought we should start doing our Aussie Rules show a little bit earlier after the round just concluded. So, Cal, mate, I've pulled you in here. It's 9 p.m. where you're at. It's a nice 7 a.m. where I am at right now. We're going to break down round 14. You ready to rumble?
Mate, I am. It is very weird. You've dragged me to work at 9 o'clock on a Sunday night, but I don't mind because footy's fresh in my mind. I'm excited to talk about it. I think you know why I'm really excited to talk about it this week. But before we do, I think I've got to set up our Twitter Spaces, Tom, because we're
Yeah, man.
live here on YouTube and on Facebook. So bear
Let's
with me
go.
while I try and set up that for the first time live. So yeah, let's get that rolling. Take it away. Maybe tell everyone what's going to be on the show, why I try and do that.
Yeah, absolutely. So what we thought, we just want to be here. We're going to change up the show a little bit. We're going to, first of all, quickly have a look at our squads, how they went for the round, go through. We'll show you all who we started in our multiple competitions, our rankings, and then we'll hop into a game-by-game analysis and review of round 14. We want to highlight some of the best players you need to be keeping a lookout for. And, just you can never get that squad good enough, so you got to keep building. So we'll try to help you do that. After, I've got a new segment this week, Cal. I want to call it the best and worst players. And what I want to do here is I want to get people at home to let us know what were their best and worst coaching decisions that they made throughout the round. We'll pick out a winner, and I think we give out a pack and some nice rewards as the season goes on. Planning to give out a player card next week in particular, but this week I think we go over the pack. And then we're going to wrap it up with our biggest takeaway from round 14. So just one thing that you've learned and that you'll be taking into the next round, and at least some consideration, when setting that winning squad.
Yeah, I
Hey,
love it. I'm keen to rip in and get a few of these new ones going. I'm having no luck here on Twitter Spaces here, Tom. Just FYI, you've done a great intro here. And yes, I know D-Sync was asking 7 a.m. in America. Do you want to talk about that while I continue to try and get our Twitter Spaces up and rolling?
yeah. I actually am in America right now. If you don't know, am a massive Boston Celtics fan. So I thought that I would pack my bags and make my way to Boston to come experience the finals. So I've been in and amongst the city. I've been soaking it all in. Last game was a little bit disappointing, I must say, but I think we're saving ourselves for a big game on a Monday night that'll be here and Tuesday day for everyone in the land down under. So it's exciting times, man. I'm like, got tingles. I'm thinking about the next game already, but we're here to talk Aussie rules. So I don't even, my mind's all over the place right now, Cal.
Yeah, mine too. We definitely should have thought about this Twitter Spaces thing here. It's Tommy GDS, isn't it? If I try
It
and send
is.
that invite. You're not popping up there. But
I think I'm
I'm
already
also
in as a listener. Can you say that? Can you not upgrade me to a talker in the little room?
oh, I'm trying. I can't
You
see you
following
there.
along? Okay.
No. Anyway, we're trying something new here. We're keen to try a few different things. The live shows have been going really well, and obviously we do our recorded show normally, Tom. But we thought we'd jump on, like you said, to get stuck into it. But yeah, we've got a couple people waiting here, but I cannot see you. Maybe request to join. Maybe ask.
Yeah, let me see if I can start listening.
Who can speak? Only people you invite to speak. There you go. How do I make you a listener there, Tom?
Mike, can you
Requested.
see me now?
Approve. Here we go. You're in. I'm in.
We're cooking with some gas. I think we are. Hello. Testing. Seems like I'm talking. I think we're good.
Or maybe I'm in as well. So maybe you do the introduction. We're here on GameDay Squad. Twitter Spaces. Take it away, Tom.
That's it, mate. We're here to wrap up round 14 for Aussie Rules Fantasy. What we're going to be doing today, we're going to be going through the round. We're going to talk about our squads first, let you know who we started, some of our scores for the round. We're then going to head into a game-by-game analysis, trying to help you stay on top of everything that happened, talk about some of the best, worst, and ones to look out for. We then want to throw it over to you after we've done our analysis and work out What were your decisions? What are the best, the worst ones that you made over this round? And then, Cal, we're going to take one lesson away that we've learned, and we're going to go to the next round holding our heads high. So, without further ado, Cal, we've been rolling for a couple minutes now. I think we rip right into it, mate. It is time
Let's
to talk about round 14.
Let's get stuck in. Now, we've got a couple of people there, I think, on Twitter Spaces. So we're streaming live on YouTube and Facebook as well. So if you do want to see the visuals, they are up over there. But Tom, take it away, because I'm keen to talk about this round, because as you know, I had a pretty good one.
Mate, I'm just going to blame it on couldn't connect over here in the US. They banned GameDay Squad. No, they haven't. I made some shocking calls and I didn't check lineups, in all honesty. So it's going to be pretty disappointing when we go through my squad. But Cal, I think I might quickly share my screen, and I'm just going to take everyone through my squads for the week, talk about some of my rankings, and then we'll hand it back over to you.
Go for it. Go for it.
Beauty. Are we?
Yeah,
you've got me. We've got me.
I've got.
Here we go.
I have got you. Take me through it. Just scroll back up there, because there is a great name you can see there in 6th place. Because it's funny, I went looking for you on the leaderboard today, couldn't find you.
I know. So how'd you go? Down in 39th.
How did you go?
Hold on, let me take everyone through. Let's go. So 39th for Classic, unfortunately, 2,700, 2,300 here in our starter, the new one. Woody's Was. That might be back-to-back wins. I just feels like since we've had multi-comps, he's on top of the leaderboards every round. Here he is again, but 44 here in the Challenger, 2,932. But what you all want to see is who I started. Let's start off with Classic. This right here.
Oh,
this is one of my starts for the round. I'm going to blame it on it being game day over here. It's tough. It was very tough. I couldn't believe it. I'm spewing. I started.
Nazaya Wanganeen Malira, for those following on Twitter. You made an absolute howler there. We don't have, obviously, emergencies in or notifications. However, one of the things I'll butt in there, Tom, because it is a negative for you, but as you know, we've got it cooking soon. So hopefully with the new stats update, you're going to get a notification and you're like, mate, you've got a player starting that isn't playing. So,
yes,
you know, it's going to help you for situations like that. But hey, you've made an absolute dud there. But that wasn't the only one that you made. So
unfortunately not. Luke Ryan, he had a bit of a stinker this round, but you know what? I think he gets the pass. It's like his first bad game that he's had for like the season. Like if we just pull up some of the numbers here, 84, he hasn't fallen under 100 since round 6. So that's a really juicy stretch there of just tonning up every round. I just don't see a round where I can't start him. So if that's just going to be the form, I'm going to ride it. It is what it is. I chucked in Jordan Clark this week. I thought defender options were a bit thin with a lot of the buys. And it's, you know, sort of my people that I would normally lean on. I couldn't. So Clark was a good little addition. 117 there. Lockie Whitfield was amazing. Dan Houston, fantastic as well. He was killer. My all-stars in the middle.
Talk about him.
I went Tim Taranto. He's been really good since coming back. 146. So that was a really great call from my end there. Pretty sure Dunkley didn't play the best. 105. I went Marshall and English. My boy English gang. It's beautiful to see him back with 141.
No good there.
This is another player who, again, great form. Just didn't have a great outing on the weekend. Zach Fisher, but again, I think similar to Luke Ryan with the form he's in, I'm going to be starting him. Rankin came out, I think, the game late, but got me over 100. But these were my big duds up front here. Baker, Bolton. No good for my forwards this round.
I did see a lot of people put some extra stock into the Richmond hype for Dusty's 300th, but it just didn't turn out like people wanted it to. So, yeah, pretty disappointing game for Richmond as a whole. Really good game for Hawthorn. But yeah, we'll touch 100%. On that in a little bit. But yeah, I can see how you would have fallen for that one. There you got Dusty there. You've rolled the dice in the starter competition, played Dusty.
Yeah. So quickly have a look at my starter one. Played a couple different pods like the Lizard. Didn't pay off. James Sicily was one that I thought, you know what, I'll roll with him. Looks like he has a good matchup, mate. He killed it.
Yeah.
Paps, McRae
Killed
up
it.
front.
Second highest scorer for the round, old Sicily. What did he finish up with? 167, just one shy of the Bond. He was fantastic. He killed it. It was good to see him back in form. I feel like every time I've played Sicily so far this year, he's had a stinker, and then I've
Yeah.
missed all his good ones. But no, I'm happy to be on top of that good one. Keep going. You're taking us through.
Yeah, absolutely. This is here, my challenger one. We'll finish it off right here. The double Richmond forwards again. The double Hawthorn forwards didn't play off as well as I thought. I had Dylan Moore and Jis Ginnivan as a pod. I had a platinum, and I thought, you know what? I've got some salary cap to burn. Why not burn it on Guinea for the round? So that's my round, fellas. That's my squads that I set. Of course, wasn't on top of all the news. I was in transit throughout the week, but nonetheless, I'm pretty happy. Like, I haven't done horribly. Things could be a lot worse.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely. But they could be a lot better, as you know, Tom. And let me show you what a lot better looks like. And I don't get to do this very often. So I'm pretty
A lot
excited to
better.
actually
100 points. Let's pump the brakes a little bit, surely.
Where am I? So I'll take you through. That is what I'm most excited about this week, Tom. I
Nice.
finished
Well done.
sixth in the classic competition. Thank you very much. You know, I've struggled to get there this year. It's been a bit of an up and down season, but that's easily my best seasonal result for a while. And I'll show you who did it in a second. But going through the rest of mine, I came 102nd in the starter, 53rd in the challenger, and 56th in the champion. But do you want to hear something funny?
Other
My
than this
classic.
comment that I pulled up.
She was so. She. Did she finish
Shout out Arnie
first?
Booger. I think tied first in the starter.
Oh, shout
What
out
a
Arnie
what a
Booger.
week.
Oh, there you go. I didn't even see it. Oh,
Yeah.
can you imagine? Well, actually, so yeah, she got equal first because there's no multipliers in the starter, so she definitely would have finished first. So congratulations, Arnie Booger. You'll be splitting the All-Star card. That probably means she's won an All-Star card, both her and Woody's Wasps. So shout out to them. They're going to have one of
Beautiful.
them to add to their squads at the end of the season. But yeah, with I'll show you my squad.
Yeah, run us through, mate.
Oh, but sorry, before I do that, I told you the thing that I found interesting this week was my classic side actually outscored my challenger and champion. And my champion
Nice.
and challenger, they're not full of scrubs. Like I got some platinums and some diamonds running around, but you can see there in the challenger, a diamond Butters wasn't doing me any good, and there's a few
Oh,
pretty duds in my champion squad. But let me talk about classic, man, because sixth, I beat you. I don't know what we're up to. What are we 4-10 now for the season? Is that where we're
something
at?
like that. Yeah, I
Four and
think so.
11.
10 and 4. It's 14 rounds,
Close.
right?
Hey, it's not over. Yeah. It's 14. We've had 14 rounds plus we've had the round 0, so we've probably had 15 in there. I think maybe at most I've won 5. So you've been smacking me all season. So it's good to get one back on you. I told you I played Sicily. I nailed that one. The other one I nailed on Friday night as well was Joey Danaher.
Yeah, well done. That's huge.
It was thin, and I just really thought the Saints would roll over. I thought they were in big trouble as a team, and I don't love Danaher, so I didn't love playing him in my squad. But I tell you what, if he kicks 5 goals every week, I'd happily play him in my squad every week.
Starting every round, right?
Yeah. So I think what I did this week, and you look around, I fell for the Dusty and Bolton hype as well, but I kind of just. I don't know. This week, I feel like I avoided some of those really bad scores, and I just got some really, really good ones. So the Gold Houston did quite well. I know
Nice.
Sheasel
Money.
did quite well.
Yep.
Goulden did quite well, and I got the gold right. So it just felt like I got these decisions right, even though it didn't cost me playing Tim English, for example. I missed out on him. I went Tristan Sherry, but even then, Sherry wasn't that far off that it hurt me too much. So
Cherry was good.
Yeah,
Yeah, exactly.
So yeah, pretty overall. And again, Rosie, I broke my rule. I played him first game back from injury. I didn't like doing it. But again, that didn't cost me as much as I thought it was going to. So yeah, overall pretty happy. Great to get the win over you. So much so you left the country. So
I left the country well beforehand. Let's not start some propaganda here, please. But alrighty, mate. Let's go through the round by round analysis now. What I think, I think we pull up good people over at DFS. They do some great live scoring and have all the stats up. So, mate, if you could, let's pull that up. Let's go through the first game. Let's talk about, some of those people like Joey Danaher. So pull it up, mate. Maybe a little zoom in for everyone at home. Perfect. There we go.
Where do you want to start? How do you want to tackle this?
Well, mate, I think we're just gonna go. Let's filter by, how you can click filter by GDS score. Yeah, now we're talking.
Yeah,
Now we're
and of
talking.
course, while we're doing this, we are looking at a great page, like you said, over at DFS. But this time next month, Tom, we might be looking at
Yes,
this on our own app with some extra cool things. So I'm super
super
excited for it.
exciting, 100%. But mate, let's talk
If
about the
there,
top scorers.
Yeah, well, I was just going to say quickly, if there's anything you'd love to see, please reach out, find us on Discord. We're always open to suggestions for what coaches want. So, yeah, don't be afraid to ask if there's something you want to see as we're building that out.
Yeah, absolutely. Couldn't agree more, mate. Let's rip in. Here we go. Top scorers for this round. Hugh McCluggage, 26 disposals, 2 goals, was fantastic. I definitely would say pod option for a midfield. But man, if you were looking a bit thin and you played him, you're reaping the benefits of that one. The big name here, though, the forward, Joey Danaher, 156 game day squad fantasy
5 goals.
points, topped off with 5 goals, 12 marks. It just felt like he was getting his hands on everything. And if you're someone like Cal, it probably would have scored you a pretty good rank, just nailing that one right with how, let's say, average the forwards were for this round, because it was pretty thin and far between.
Yeah, it definitely was hard to get the forwards right. And I think nailing that was the difference because I actually played Lockie Neal as well, as you saw from this game. So he was the midfield I went with. I was tossing up between him and Dunkley. I've
Yep.
picked wrong, and it didn't cost me. I guess, if this was you, you'd be sitting here being like, oh, could have come first. I'm not looking at it like that. I'm just stoked to be in sixth. It's a competitive competition. So getting up there, I'm really, really happy with. So,
Nice.
yeah.
Well, you scored
But
someone so you played someone, sorry, who scored points. So at least you did a little bit better than me this round.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
You're gonna put the asterisks on that one. But over on the Saints side, Sinclair, I got that one right. I went him over Wanganeen Malira. Why? Because Wanganeen Malira wasn't playing. So once again, you've picked the wrong one. That seems to be every single week.
Yeah.
Steele, I know I know people that's still trying to play him, but and Marshall is just an absolute lock. He's the second best ruckman in the game right now. I'm behind Gorn, which means that I don't imagine too many people went without his 120. But on the other side, I don't know. People might have. I reckon there would have been people who streamed in Bradley Hill
Yeah.
just with how thin the forwards were this week. 73 was quite disappointing from him. He was quite quiet the whole way through. So yeah, that
Yeah.
was not playing him was a good thing.
Yeah, absolutely. And I must say, Bradley Hill's in some pretty shocking form, at least compared to a little stretch that he had throughout the season. So for me right now, he's lost a lot of faith, and I'm not really rolling him in many of my squads. Sort of just using him as a backup option in my other squads because we got the multi comps. So if I don't have enough depth, I'll roll with him. But he's definitely not one of the first 7 I think of when setting my forwards for the round. Hey.
No, and definitely not with the amount of buys and stuff, right? I'd be shocked if he shows up in anyone's squad on a consistent basis for the rest of the season.
Righty, Cal, let's move it over. Game 2 of the round. We have the Western Bulldogs taking on the Fremantle Dockers. Now, this might be the most surprising outcome, as being in America and having a look at the scores when I woke up in the morning, I was thought, how do you go from
America.
beating the Demons from 100 points to losing to the Bulldogs by nearly 80? It was led
Can
by...
I
Yeah,
Yeah,
go.
can I was going to say, can I tell you why? The big bad Bont running around in the middle was the best player on the park and looked like the Bont of last year, right? The Bont that was the best player in the competition, the Bont that, maybe should have won the Brownlow, the Bont that was the highest scoring fantasy player. Was he number 1 last year? He was 1.
He was
Goulden
number 1.
2. Yeah, yeah. For a second there, I thought it was English, and I was like, nah, no way, no way. But yeah, tell you what, a lot of big name players scoring this week. So just looking at the dog side, Bont tick, English tick. I played Trelaw instead of Bont, and again, that's another decision where I didn't pick the premium midfielder, the one that went off. Nailed it. Still did really well. Dale did really well. So yeah, that's I was really happy on that side. And then on the other
Fair
side,
enough.
the two boys outside of Ryan scored points. So yes, you can still play all three, Young, Clark, and Ryan. Coaches can roll out all three, and I think a lot of coaches would have with the amount of teams we had off. But outside of
Yeah,
that,
yeah.
Andy Brayshaw, what's happened to that man?
What is happened to Andy Brayshaw? We need to get Hef on to get his boy up and about again, up and running, because it has just not been his season this year. It's just I was always a big fan of Caleb Sarong. I can't lie, especially last year. I think if you looked at the season, I probably played Sarong like 90% of the time over Brayshaw. I did stream him in a couple of times, but this year I haven't played any Brayshaw once, or maybe once at the
Oh,
most.
I've probably done it on a few matchups, just trying to like hope or trying to do it as a bit of a pod, not play Sarong and play Brayshaw. But think about it, 2 weeks ago, or two weeks ago, definitely not 2 weeks ago, 2 years ago, he could have been the top 3 pick for dynasty assets and GDS.
Yep.
Does he make the top 15 now? Top 20? How low does he drop off the top of your head?
Not in this
Top
squad.
20? Top 20? Does he even do that?
I'd still say he's the top 15 asset just based on history and age. But yeah, it's pretty tough. Like there's a lot of names that I would throw before him. That's for sure. Desync had a comment there. Bond being sick all week. Yeah, he got us all, mate. Everyone played Trelaw thinking Trelaw's going to have a higher workload. Yeah, Bond. And then Finn McGuinness here. Ryan Tagg's going to come every week now. I sure hope not.
Yeah, well, it's working so well at the moment with Tom Stewart, right? And I think it's one thing when you play in the midfield your whole life and you're used to attack. Like if you go up to Lockie Neal now, he's been tagged so many times in his life. He knows what it's like. The bot knows what it's like. It's just, another game to him. But it must be
Mhm,
so weird being tagged off the halfback flank and down back when you got someone like Stewart and like Ryan. So
for
yeah,
sure.
it's when you get close attention, those defensive forwards, bloody Ross Lyon and his defensive forwards and what he brings into the game, even though they weren't playing him. I still blame Ross for it. But yeah,
That's
it's a
funny,
good
man.
question.
Well, let's get through this game, Cal. Bontempelli said highest scorer, best player in the park, easy. As you can tell by the score and by the fantasy scores here, 6 players for the Dogs outscored at least the top scorer for Freo, which was Hayden Young, Clark, Jackson, Sarong, the top 4 over there, all cracking the 100. Other than
Mm,
Sarong, only 93 for the round. So although Andy Brayshaw played bad, Sarong definitely played pretty horrible for his standards at least. Team English, nice little bounce back game. He hasn't been in the best form this year. 141 of the best this round. Trelaw, he's been fantastic. He's been the underdog, the person flying under the radar. I have to say, it has just been one of those players that I don't think is getting the respect. If you just need someone that you need a good floor for and they're going to pump out a score, look no further than Trelaw, mate. Cal, I want to ask you about Bailey Dale. His season has seen some ups, some massive ups at that. A couple downs, 131 this round. How are you looking at Bailey Dale's season and starting him moving forward? Because, of course, he's a great player, but there are many great defenders in the competition right now. Where does he sit for you?
comfortably in my top 7 is what I'd say.
You started him this round in Classic?
Yeah, I did.
Okay.
I've played him. I've played him pretty much. Pretty much, I'd say since like round 5, 6, 7. When he had a massive score
Yep.
in round 6, I called him washed, and then he went, and I had to apologize. And I don't think I've taken him out since. So I've given after disrespecting him and telling him he was washed. I'm showing him nothing but respect, and I've
Nothing
kept
but
him in my
love.
squad all season. Nothing but love. A sneaky All Star chance. I was doing the numbers. Could we see Bailey Dale in an All Star? Is he going to be this year's Nick Newman? But that's not. Let's not get down that track yet. For me,
Not
even
yet.
like last month of footy, he's been really good. I play him every single week. I play him with confidence. So
Yep.
yeah, I'm pretty definitive on that one. I don't think he's going to be leaving there unless he's by or injured for me at this moment.
Yeah, absolutely, mate. Let's go through a couple of other players. Let's wrap it up. Waitman coming back this round, definitely a pot option for forwards in the league. Jack McRae, man, he's been disappointing. If you looked at the preseason and some of people's forwards rankings, they would have had him at the top. I don't think anyone's starting Jack McRae at the moment. Caleb Daniels get the green vest on, the green top. He can't even crack into the game and the starters, and he
It's
was
like a
another
dress
one of
on him.
those players. Oh, tell me about it, man. It's just been one of those seasons for him. He's just not startable at the moment. And Nat Fyfe as well. I know people were optimistic about how much midfield time he was going to get. He had the forward designation this year in squads, but he just hasn't been able to capitalize on that. And you're looking at Luke Jackson rather than Nat Fyfe at the moment. So, yeah.
Yeah, Luke Jackson had a good one. Good to see him and Darcy both score okay together. I'd love to see Darcy back in contention for a playable ruckman spot every week, because he's just kind of fallen off the radar. Right, the only time he's been relevant is when we're talking about him being injured for Luke Jackson. But yeah, he's the only one I'm really watching that I haven't been playing a lot of. Fyfe, yeah. It is disappointing with Fyfe because I really did think this year that potentially there could be a sneaky chance we play him a little bit more. But even a game like this where he had 16 touches, he wasn't anywhere close to scoring the points from. Look at him; he did nothing else, right? It was just getting touches,
seriously.
not laying tackles, staying out of it. Yeah. Anyway, there's other players.
Yeah, that's it, mate. Let's move it on. The next game we have the Richmond Tigers taking on Hawthorn Hawks. It was 49-97. Hawthorn winning very comfortably in the end. They are in some amazing form by their standards. They have been through some tough times over the past couple of years, but it seems like it's just all starting to click. And of course, it was led by none other than their captain this round, James Sicily, 167 fantasy points, 33 disposals, 15 marks, a tackle. And may I just add, he's doing this with only 2 kick-in attempts for the game. So I know last season, the 2023, we had Sicily so high because we knew that he was going to get the bulk of the kick-ins for Hawthorn. But he doesn't even require this anymore, and he's still putting up some massive, massive scores. So I think that's just somewhere where he's growing, where he's not having to get those kick-in kicks to be able to score big, but he has been a little bit inconsistent. Our next top scorer, Cal, we might talk about this guy, Tim Taranto, 33 disposals, 6 marks, 5 tackles, and a goal, 146 game day squad fantasy points on your base card. He's just come off a pretty significant injury, which saw him sidelined for a couple of weeks. How are you looking at Tim Taranto now? We've seen him for a 2-block game. He's gone over 102 times. Are you looking at potentially streaming in Taranto to your squad anytime soon?
Yeah, he's definitely someone I've got a few cards of after obviously being a must start last year. So I've definitely got a few Timmy Taranto cards that I haven't used. So I am keeping an eye on him. Good stats, bad team. We see it all the time where people, someone's going to eat, right? Even if your team's not so good, and that Richmond team is not very good at all. They're paying him the money. He's going to continue running through that middle. And we don't really care if he butchers the footy when he does it here at GDS. We just care about him getting it. So, yeah, it is good to see him back. I think him putting his hand up for one of those spots there will make it very interesting. A few more different pot options around. I'm just laughing because I just saw Finn McGuinness's comment. You crack me up, Finn. He said, I can see at least 8 players that I should be getting in front of. I'd love to know the 8. If you want to name and shame the 8, Finn, please let us know. We want to know, is he, who are those 8 players? We'll send the list off to Semi Mitchell for you. But, yeah.
There's a good question from Desync here. Is Sicily back? Look, I don't think I'm starting him every single round, but I do think he's now coming back into that conversation. It's just tough when a year where we have so many good defender options. Like, do you want to back in Sicily over some of the others?
Well, what if I told you this? This might be a bit of a shock. Sicily is his lowest score since round 6 was 94.
That's good. It's better than I thought, actually.
Yeah, like sneaky, because he had a couple of absolute shockers. I think it was at round 1 I played him and he scored 40 points. And then there's the other game where was that the game? Yeah, I think when he almost got suspended for hitting Stakos or someone. So I don't know. First round's just stuck in my mind, but yeah, he's actually been sneaky playable, even as a floor. But yeah, I don't know. We're going to see 167 every week, but he is capable of going big. It's the second time he's gone over 135 this season. So he's definitely, if he's not every week, he's definitely a pod option for someone looking to spice things up. So yeah, make sure you've got a Sicily card if you don't already have one.
Absolutely. Let's keep talking about some of the other players. The defender duo, Vlosten and Short for Richmond. Pretty tidy games, respectively. 135, 121. Definitely some pot options there. But people you could stream through your squad for the round. So interested to know if anyone that's here right now, did you back in short? Is that someone you're looking at, or are we looking elsewhere again? Sort of like that
Well,
Sicily comment.
I'd beware of Vlasten or fallen into the trap of him early in the season. He had a couple of huge games, and I was like, you know what? I might just play him. I might just keep him around. He's had a lot of stinky games since then. So yeah, do not fall for the trap. I'm more interested about Short, and I'm just trying to pull up. I'm not sure if you've got his numbers recently, because he was obviously someone last year that popped up to be quite handy. So there you go, 130 last week, 121. So potentially is Short back? That's the one I want to know. Not forget Sicily. Is Short back, Tom?
It's tough. It's tough. I don't know. I would say he's definitely in better form, as you said. I just don't know if he's back in regards to like being a top 7 defender for a round. What I do know is that he's going to have plenty of opportunity to get his hands on the footy playing at Richmond, as you said. There aren't going to be a lot, if any, favourable matchups there. So he's going to have the opportunity to do it. But one thing he's doing? Kick-ins. He's leading Richmond for kick-ins, so there definitely is upside there. So don't know if he's back,
Jeez.
but yeah, Jaden Short definitely playing better than what he was.
Geez, yeah. Speaking about kick-ins, can't wait to talk about the Port game this afternoon. Wowee! I don't know if you were up for it, but I tell you what, if you're going to wake up for it, you would have gone back to bed pretty quickly.
Let's quickly get through this game, Cal. Let's move it on. We've got Liam Baker, 83 fantasy points. Very disappointing. I think a lot of people would have streamed him through on Richmond. Shai Bolton, 80 fantasy points. Again, disappointing round. Dan Rioli, my big pod from the preseason. He hasn't been any good this round or this year at all. So not those 3 players there, not really startable. Over to
I was just highlighting. I just wanted to highlight Martin because I know a lot of people were thinking for him, but I was laughing because you were saying about Dan Rioli this year, averaging less than 90 points.
I know.
You're great. You're great hope. Yeah, didn't get that one right. You got a lot of preseason stuff right. Shout out to you. I remember you're letting me know, and you're showing it. You're keeping receipts, but yeah, I think you've left that receipt somewhere. Burned the tape.
That receipt has been burned. All the footage burned. Burn it all. I can't believe I stuck up for this guy. I really thought there was some upside there. Anyway, we'll move it on. Let's wrap up with Hawthorn. Dylan Moore in career form at the moment, but not throughout this game. 89 fantasy points. So not a horrible outing, but I'll tell you what, he's put up some monster performances recently. So there was going to be a little regression there, sort of normal to see with this type of player. Will Day, he's been a bit sneaky, but as a midfielder this year, 82 fantasy points throughout this. I can't imagine there's too many people rocking Will Day since his position changed from last season. And yeah, that wraps us up. Game 3.
Yeah, not much more I want to talk about there. Why I flicked that over. Shout out Finn McGuinness. He has told us exactly who he would be getting a game over.
Beautiful. Bruce
get bad tips for Sandown.
Awful.
Great. Mate. Before we get into this game, can we talk about your boy Hinge? Your boy, one of 2 AFL players you've touched this season, and I tell you what, mate, I don't know if it's you. That's the other one. The other one, of course, being Zachy Merritt. But I tell you what, you've touched 2 very good players, mate.
I've touched one very good player and one person who kicking the ball in for the Crows. Matty Hinge, man. I'll tell you what, he's come out of nowhere. He's fantastic. But
I don't know if it's I've been noticing him more since your run-in with him. Run-in, very friendly.
It's both. I think since I touched him, there's something about he's up and about. He knows he's like Tom.
I do piss myself laughing every time. Every time I do see him. Again, shout it for those who don't know. Tom went up to him one night, not knowing who he was, and asked him if he was a fan of the Swans. And it might have been after a few wines, and you might have given him a bit of a shake when he said he didn't look at you. We didn't know what you were on about, but
I was doing my best to recruit.
You don't need to, because I tell you what, Amadi kicking 9 goals, and he's maybe your third best forward, big forward, I should say, tall forward.
Crazy.
Insane. Imagine being
Yeah.
not dragged by your coach, but taken off when you're on 9 goals. I love Longmire. I think he's one of the best coaches, if not the best coach in the entire AFL. I think you guys are humming. But man, come on. Come on. What are we doing? Keep him on the field for his 10th. He was fantastic. Obviously, we didn't care. I don't know if anyone would have played him, but I tell you what, the other guys that people would have played, Heaney, amazing.
What have you
Goulden,
Cal? Look at
amazing.
this comment.
Can you touch?
You need to stop, bro. We need that thing burned as well. That's for sure.
Well, that was the other yeah, that was the other fun part, because when you went and saw Merritt, Stringer was right there, but you gave him the big don't argue. You weren't about Stringer,
I
not the
did.
fantasy fella.
Let's talk about this ground again, Armadi. I don't think anyone's playing him. If you did, honestly, hats off to you. But I can't imagine it would be
Yeah.
0.1% of you out there that would have gone Armadi's having a party this round.
Something else we're soon going to have access to, Tom, as part of these stats. We're going to be able to see how many coaches, not individual teams, but how many coaches played everyone. So we'll have the
Yep.
data on that. So if you do wonder how many people actually rolled out Armadi, you're going to get that number very shortly, which I'm super pumped for, because I think that's going to help coaches see what sort of tactics everyone's going through. But sorry,
sure.
take through our Swans. Our Swans look good at the moment, mate.
My
Keep
Swans, the
Our
Isaac
Swan.
Heaney, Brownlow form, Goulden, Brownlow form, 156, 151. These guys are just honestly set and forget at the moment. After what people thought was a slow start to the season for Errol Goulden, I don't think the same people who had any doubts have any anymore. You need to be streaming him through your midfield. He's playing the wing role, and I don't think anyone's ever played the wing role better in terms of fantasy. It is just so good how he's utilising the footy. Brody Grundy, 31 disposals for Ruckman, 142 fantasy points. Don't mind if you do. And Taylor Adams, best game as a Sydney Swans in the blood colours. Finally coming out with some great form. 2 goals, 122 fantasy points. I know that was a player people were keeping a close eye on in the preseason. Once that trade was done, they thought there's some huge upside there with Taylor Adams. Could he be now coming back into the conversation? And can you be rolling with Taylor Adams and Isaac Heaney in your forward line, Cal? That's my question.
Yeah. I tell you what, it was definitely someone in the preseason I thought I would be playing a lot more of, Taylor Adams.
Same.
It didn't work out. What did he get injured to start off the year? And I think that's disrupted him. But this Taylor Adams, I actually played him in one of my competitions. I think I played him in the Challenger competition this week. He looked so good. Getting on the scoreboard definitely helps as a forward listed player, but it is just insane how much talent you guys have. Every week you can play Goulden, you can stream through someone like Warner. I've got 20 row bottom cards I want to play, but I tell you what, there are so many good people. Even Jakey Lloyd pops up, and it's like, is this the Jakey Lloyd game where he goes for 140? Like, he's not a regular player, but he's someone that I know people like to stream in. So yeah, you guys are just on fire at the moment. Yeah,
100%.
Must be nice.
Bit of dynasty watching this one. Chad Warner, mate, he's been having a Brownlow season. 92 fantasy points. Just get that feeling it's a little bit goal dependent when he's going to be fantasy relevant. And I'm not sure if I want to be taking a punt, backing him in to kick goals every round. Nick Blakey, the Lizard, he's had some cracker games this year, just not this one. And James Jordan as well, another forward option from the Swans that people thought could be streaming through their forward line. Had 20 disposals, just the 61 fantasy points. Just not a player that you're going to want to be starting too often at the moment.
Yeah, definitely. I'm just because we are doing something new here on the live, Tom. I have a feeling this whole time it's just been me on the on the Twitter Spaces. I'm not sure if you're actually coming through.
Oh no.
Yeah, I know.
I think I'm still in there. Hold up, let me check for you, mate.
I don't know if your thing's going. We're testing this out. If you are joining us on Twitter Spaces, we are live on YouTube and Facebook. We're trying something new tonight with the Twitter Spaces.
It says
here for the
I'm
GameDay
a
Squad,
speaker, so
if you're a speaker, well, we'll have to.
I don't know. Hopefully, let us know in the comments if you.
Yeah, someone. If you're on Twitter as well,
great.
please let us know. Help solve our technical problems live. Sorry, you were talking about how good your Swans were.
I
for
was, but I'm
the
not going to
20th time.
continue to gloat. I'm going to move on. The Swans are fantastic. Let's talk about the Adelaide Crows. Rory Laird, 144 fantasy points. He's been having a down year by his standards.
Mm.
This game was fantastic from him. He's just a bloody workhorse, gets around the ground. I think the most impressive performance for the Crows, in my opinion, has to go to Isaac Rankin. I know he came off early with the injury bug, but 2 goals, 18 disposals, 6 marks, 4 tackles. I didn't get to watch the game, but just seeing those numbers, I'm going to presume there's some time in the midfield there. That's exactly why I'm putting Isaac Rankin back into my forward line moving forward. I think the upside with his goal kicking ability is something that is a big tick and a big yes, please for me. Jordan Dawson, probably one of the more disappointing performances, 103 fantasy points, not horrible. Got a goal, 17 disposals. Just thought maybe he'd get his hands on the footy a little bit more. But, mate, Rochelle, Keys, some forward options for the Crows this year. They just haven't been able to find any sort of consistent form or a consistent role. I just look at those two and I just don't think I'm starting either one of them anytime soon on my forward line. I'm way more confident in Rankin at the moment.
Yeah, and I was lucky. I actually played Rankin this week. So I got every one of those 106 points as a bronze. He's obviously missed a bit of time. He came straight back in. His last 3 games, 106, 120, and 124. So he has missed a handful of games in there in between. But yeah, it's pretty good when he's running around that midfield time. So I'm just looking there as well. So yeah, 4 of his last 5 scores have all gone above 106. So I would be looking to play him very seriously at this stage, particularly if he's got that role. But I believe there was a bit of an injury cloud around him. So just keep an eye on that one this week.
100%, 100%. It definitely was an injury cloud. But, Cal, I think that wraps us up for that game. Let's go to the next one. And the next one, I have just seen the score update, and I nearly want to cry, just by the way. It was very early in the morning for me, but I wasn't sleeping, and I thought, I'm going to throw this game on. And I turned the game off at about three-quarter time, and I thought, North are going to win it. How bloody good is this? How have they fumbled this one? How have they lost this 118 to 119? I've only just seen this now live, and I am devastated for them.
Well, funny you thought they were going to win. I don't know if you saw. So there was a moment. The North kicked the first goal of the second half, and they went to a 51-point lead or a 52-point lead or something like that.
What happened?
My brother's turned to me and he's like, I wonder what the line is here. And it was 33.5 points. And he's like, yeah, I reckon Collingwood will win. And then maybe have made a cheeky call. So I was kind of riding that with him. You know, it was weird. We're going for the Pies, but yeah, that one hit. But in terms of some of the players, man, North, like I want to point out something here. Look at the difference in fantasy points total for the North team versus the Pies. So 1900 here versus 1500, and it's the Pies that won. So even though it just seems like every single North player that outside of Powell has had has had an outstanding game. Yeah, Cherry, we spoke about that before. He wasn't a top 2 ruck this week, but he's still 125. Sheasel still playable. Fisher, not ideal, but not a score that would have hurt you if you still snuck him in. It just seemed like that. They were just absolutely killing it. LDU finally is showing up, and somehow the Pies won, and Dacos still dominated.
Can we just confirm that I watched the first quarter and Nick Larkey was on 4 goals, right? I thought I was seeing the second coming of Buddy Franklin out there, by the way, in the first quarter. This guy's on pace for 12. Did he get a touch after the first quarter?
He definitely didn't get a goal. It was the Nick Larkey show. And then I saw at halftime, I was like, geez, he must be on 8 goals by now. But no, he didn't. But
wow,
I know some people are still playing Tommy Powell. What are you doing to Sink? Is that just a pot option? Are you just what's going on there? Because I know people. He had such a hot start, hot run there at the start of the year. Hey, we were locking him in for an all-star, and then they changed his spot, changed Sheasel's spot. But yeah,
Yep.
now power doesn't even cross my thinking. So I'd
Nah, not
love
at
to
all.
hear I'd love to hear the thought process of anyone that was trying to roll with him. But yeah, is there anyone really else outside? It's amazing that Collingwood don't actually have that many playable players. Like Dacos plays. Is there anyone else really there that you'd think about? I know people sometimes run with Josh, but yeah,
Yeah,
not a
look,
not a
honestly,
fantasy friendly squad.
pod Josh at best. Yeah. Honestly, there's not much else upside with a lot of the players here. I just don't think there's enough consistent disposals and goals. And look at this. Norman, Mavs at 7. Oh, I can't wait to disappoint you tomorrow night for me.
Yes, Norman,
I'm thinking
ride
about
that.
going to the game actually. I'm just trying to work out some things now, but I might actually be in TD Garden
Oh,
to see us
well,
lift up banner 18.
stay tuned for the GDS live in person. Tom celebrating on court with his beloved Boston Celtics. That would be
Yeah,
awesome.
and
You know
getting
what?
arrested for jumping on the court. Who is this Australian?
I would love to see you happy and have Boston win. I also would love to see you fly over to America twice to have an absolute superstar hold up the trophy in your building while you stand there on the sidelines. Last time, obviously, being Curry. This time, it would be Kyrie.
It's not going to 7, bro. You're tripping, man. You're actually tripping.
Hey,
Oh, I don't like this bad energy. I'm about to turn this stream off, bro. We've got to cut this thing early.
yeah, I'll tell you what. I think you're staying with some Boston people. They might cut the internet off you if we continue this on. So let's keep going through because I want to talk about how great Port Adelaide is. So keep rolling.
Absolutely, mate. Let's wrap it up. Nick Dacos, 122. Look, Nick Dacos is Nick Dacos. You're not going to start him. So just get him in your best 7 for your squad and just keep rolling with him. I think that
Set
touches
and forget. Yeah,
all the
let's move on.
best
We don't
players.
want to talk
Last
about
game, mate.
anyone else in the Pies.
So I actually, similar, I sort of like woke up, was watching this. What I did see is the first half, and Dan Houston was a man on a mission.
Sorry, that was to the first half. What an absolute stinking game. What a terrible game of football. Dan Houston, you know what the best thing about this game was?
Hit me.
I was listening to it on radio. I didn't get to actually watch it, thankfully. It would have made me even more miserable. But it was just Dan Houston kick. And I was like, Jesus, this guy had a handball? Because they just kept saying Houston. And then they're
Yeah,
like, oh, yeah, he's had 17 touches to halftime, 16 kicks. And I was like,
it was 18. It
yes.
was 18 for
18.
17, I think. Yeah.
Yes. Incredible.
Oh, yes, very incredible. But Dan Houston, I started in this round. I thought defenders are pretty thin. He's been in pretty good form. Not the best of form over last round, but he just has that role with Port. They're trying to get it into his hands as much as he can. It just sucks that he doesn't kick it in as much because I feel like his scores could be even better and a little bit more consistent over this season if he got that kick and roll again. But you
Stop
know what?
trying to. No, you know how the player I own the
Is what
most
it is.
cards of in the entire GameDay Squad platform is Kane Farrell, my other beloved halfback flanker for Port Adelaide, and he does the kick-ins. So I am emotionally invested in him getting every single kick in, even though I'm not playing him. I'll happily do it because it means the value of my Kane Farrell cards going up. So yeah, can I
Fair
talk
enough.
through this one? Because you're right. It's no
Absolutely.
surprises that it was the people who do kick-ins that are 1 and 3. Or you could argue that Houston did a couple. So, but across the board, I think you could see that Toby Green, 1 goal 5, could have been one of the best scoring players.
Stinker.
Yeah, well, not it wasn't. Can you kick? Yeah,
Like,
kick
it wasn't
5.
horrible,
Like,
but if you kick all those goals, then mate, you take that game to like another level.
yeah, definitely. So he is someone that I know you've streamed him in a few times. I haven't been there yet, but I tell you what, if he wants to look dangerous and has the potential to kick bags, then absolutely he becomes playable, particularly through these buys as we still have teams out. But just going back to the other Port Adelaide sides, Butters got tagged out of the game today.
Yep.
I still haven't watched it, so I have to go back and actually watch what happened there. But by all accounts, just got the hard tag, and was just out of it. Rosie, first game back from injury. No surprises that he didn't go fantastic there. But yeah, no one really else to talk about on that side. But Tom Green, just another quiet 30 touches. So yeah, but as Desink says, someone needs to tell Tom Green it's called football, not handball. Yeah, he does love a handball. Him
He
and
loves
Sammy
it.
Walsh. Him and Sammy
Oh,
Walsh. So
yeah, it's tough. It's tough to see 30 disposals and he's just cracked 100. Like he's on 100 on the dot. Normally, if you get 30 disposals, that can get you to about 110 on its own. So, and he's a tackling machine. But you know what? Star of the game for GWS, Lucky Whitfield. He's got the kick in duties. He had 9 tackles just quietly. So that just ascended his game from a
very
pretty
unlucky,
average,
like,
good
yeah.
game to an absolutely fantastic one, cracking the 140 mark. One of the better defenders for the round. Hogan did fantastic as a forward, 108. I feel like this round you would have taken it. Riccardi, funnily enough, he was the one tagging Butters for most of the game, and he ends up scoring 112 game day scored fantasy points in doing so. And I know the commentators were talking, saying sometimes when you tag people, it brings you into the game. And that's exactly what it did for Riccardi this round. He had a blinder.
Yeah, he definitely scored well. The one I was most surprised was Jesse Hogan because he only got that goal, and it was very late in the day. He got the goal. I think it was the
Yep.
sealer. So I was actually shocked when I flicked on the stats and saw that he'd turned up. So because I reckon he would have been playable. I reckon a few people would have streamed him in again with how thin forwards were. So shout out if that was you and you got that one right because yeah, Port Adelaide. Not a very good team, despite having the chance to have gone second on the ladder if we'd won this game.
Yeah. Absolutely. Well, mate, what about who else? Let's cover Himmelberg. He's been a bit up and down this year. Maybe
Nah,
he's a
not ready to
good
go
pot
there yet.
option you could stream, but like that would probably be for one of your other squads.
He's having a
coming
better
out
footy season than fantasy season.
for
Himmelberg.
sure. He's
So
always a bit like that though. Like his impact always goes beyond the stats. But yeah, Toby Green. I had him as the number 1 forward this year. I just don't know what he's doing. He just needs to get back into some goal kicking form. It's literally just the goal kicking. He's getting his hands a bit more on the footy, but he's just having some weeks where he's getting shut out and being not impactful at all on the scoreboard. And that just goes against everything we've seen him do for his entire career. So I'm definitely looking at him. I'm going to keep a close eye on Toby Green moving forward because he's someone I want to have in my best 7 and he has the potential to be there in terms of score. He just isn't quite there yet. So that's one I'm going to monitor personally. And hopefully soon I have a bit more confidence with stamping the start on him for each round.
yeah, he I think a lot of people had him down as their tip for the highest scoring player for the season. And he's nowhere near the All-Star squad at the moment, so because it is so competitive. But there's still half a season to go. So, but I would not be surprised if he turns it around and gets a bit of a roll on with these Giants as they got your boys next week. So a real test because I thought that was obviously the game where he got injured. So yeah, I think he burnt a lot of people. That was the last straw, and he went off. Remember in the first couple of minutes, Tommy Green. So let's see how he reacts up against the
I
best
remember.
midfield of all time, apparently. The way
It
it's
is.
been talked up this week.
Best midfield of all time. That's facts.
Of
You can
all
say it
time.
again.
If they went up against Michael Jordan would have lost. That's how
Yeah,
good they are.
absolutely. No, I agree. 100%. They're getting buckets out there, bro. I saw a comment before. I wanted to bring it up. Decent kid. If you could pick the Swannies to win the grand final or your NFL team to win, who are you picking? Well, I'm a Patriots fan, and I've seen them win a couple times already. So I'm going Swannies, great GF. But if you ask me this for NBA, you don't want to know my answer. I think it's quite obvious, maybe, just considering the location of where I'm
let's
currently
just say you didn't fly to
based.
Melbourne when the Swans made the grand final 2 years ago. You actually flew to Boston that year too.
I did, just to see my other team lose in the grand final, if you want to call it. But Cal, mate, that wraps us out for the old witching hour, mate. Let's get back to the slides. We've got 2 quick parts left, and then we're going to wrap up the show for our first live installment. A little bit different this round, of course. We'll perfect that as we go along, but we want to give you more analysis on more players to help you build the winning squad moving forward. So we also want to be doing the live shows as well right before the round starts. So we're just trying to give you the best content and as much content as we can. Go to the next slide. You didn't even show you the next one.
Oh, sorry.
Is anyone watching Red Zone here? Decent? Finn McGuinness? Norman's still kicking it? Anyone watch Red Zone? Because if you do, you would know what this is right here. This is Scott Hansen, the absolute GOAT of all sports commentators. And I thought I'd try to, emulate him a little bit with this whole game by game analysis. So that's our goal. We're going to get to that level. So once we're there, then we're not satisfied until that point. So
Normally, I would sit here and I'd agree and say, yes, that's the level we're getting to. We could try our whole lives. We'd never getting to that man's level. Scott Hansen is the man. If we can get to half his level, we'll have done well. But no, that's an incredible edit. I love it.
He's the only sports commentator who will sit through a fire drill to continue to call the game while the building is potentially burning down. He is the absolute man.
Highly recommend Googling it if you're an NFL fan. He is great. Was that for this one? Do I got to click the slides over one more time? Of course.
Go again, mate.
You've created the slides, but you've given me the duties of clicking.
Absolutely. This is the Coach's Corner. I hinted at this before. We're going to give away a pack for that Coach's Corner this round. All I want to know from everyone that's listening at home is, what was a game-changing or detrimental decision that you made for your squad? And if you need some inspiration, let me give you some. Starting Isaiah, Wanganeen Millera, in a round where he didn't even touch the field. That is what you call detrimental. How about you, Kel? You get any inspiration to give everyone?
Yeah, I'll give you someone good. I'll touch on him again. Joey Danaher.
Yeah,
it is very. I think it just goes to show you've got to go with what's going to let you win. You can't. You leave players. Players you don't like. Players you don't like playing. In fantasy, it's about winning. So I played him this week, and it paid off big time. So yeah, he is someone that I was quite happy with, and is slowly starting to change me. He keeps kicking 5 goals every week. Maybe I'll start changing my opinion on Joey Danaher.
Yeah, well, it'd be nice if I could do that every week. Maybe I'll start him in my forward line eventually. But yeah, that's what we want to know. We want to know a decision. We want to know something, and we're going to give you a pack for it.
Oh, give me a pack for it. I'll give you another one for a pack. Can I give you a decision? Because it's quite funny when I start getting into the champion and the challenger squads, because putting all the focus into the classic, and then you're trying to think, all right, where am I going to be putting the other people? Without knowing, I actually played Will Hayward across all sports, across the other competitions outside of the classic.
Okay, as like a pod. So you want to?
Yeah,
I did the same with Blakey, so I get it.
So I've tried to run with Hayward this week. I picked the wrong forward that was going to kick 9 goals. So
you could have picked Adams or Marty. I guess it would have been much better for either or.
I picked a couple of Adams. So like in my champion, I played them both, Adams and Hayward. But Hayward, he only had 8 kicks, and it just seemed like every time Amadi was grabbing the ball, Hayward was just in the shot, but just over here. And I was like, every time. But oh well.
Yeah. I feel you, man. I feel you. Well, we've got 2 entries here, Cal. Do you want to pick a winner?
Well, just because we can't bring up one of them on the stream, probably for language. Sorry, Finn. We're probably going to have to go with Desync. But shout out, Finn.
Here we go. Swapping Bond for Butters 10 minutes before lockout. I think it may actually cost me first place in the starter competition. And I know Desync and Auntie Booger have a lot of a friendly competition like yourself and I, Cal. They go head to head in the rounds, and they love measuring each other's success based upon how they compete against each other. Literally exactly like us, I know that you measure your success on whether you knock me off in a round or not. And, I'm not going to sit here and say I don't do the same. So,
yeah,
well done.
That's the benchmark. Yeah, shout out to Desync there. That would have been so painful.
Tough to watch as well.
Bont as well with the illness all week, right? I can see how so many coaches would have scared them. So yeah, you got in your own head. Desync next time, mate. Next time, you've got it.
Beauty. Finn McInnes forgot it was 7 a.m. in Boston. Assumed it was MA 15 plus time slot. Yeah, we're getting up for the grind. We're here. We're out here. We're not letting go of the Aussie rules content, even though we're here in the USA. But Cal, last slide. Let's wrap up the show, mate. We'll contact you, Desync, with your pack on our Discord. What's the biggest lesson that you've learned, Cal, personally from this round, and how is this going to affect your squad moving forward? Now, this doesn't have to be player specific. This can be a particular line group for a team.
Yeah,
This
I've
can
got
be
one.
anything you want it to be.
I've got one for you because I learnt this week. So multi-comps came into GameDay Squad late this year. So only about a month ago, right? A few weeks ago. Can't even remember.
Yep.
So we're playing for the weekly stuff for some of the other competitions, not really looking for the seasonal for your challenger and stuff. But I learnt this week that if you're going to be serious next year about multiple competitions, you've got to be forward planning, because forward stocks in particular this week were thin, and they were thin in the classic, but trying to choose them in multiple competitions meant that I had people like Will Hayward, Billy Dowling, like just picking some rogue players just to fill the depth, right, and trying to get the right thing. So I would say if you're going to be serious next year, start planning ahead. If you see good value on the market, absolutely take advantage of it, because next year it's these rounds that are going to make and break coaches. And as you've seen this week, I'm on the make category, and I like that. I like that side. It's nice being on this side of the table.
Nice. Yeah, it must feel good. Must feel good. Well, I'm going to be on that side of the table tomorrow night. Don't worry. Leave that. My biggest lesson: the grind never stops. And if you're gonna be legit about this, make sure you check who's playing. It's devastating to come to this live, to come to the show, and just know that I just shot myself in the foot essentially, because I wasn't paying attention. I was in transit throughout the week. I was at games, and I just needed to spend a good 10 minutes to sit down when the lineups came out to be like, what adjustments do I need to make? And that can affect not only the players that you have starting, but maybe some of the other role changes that might occur to other injuries that are happening in particular teams. So that's definitely got to be the big one. Check the lineups, but it's going to be great when we can deliver that all to you within the app, and that you will get that notification being like, man, what are you doing?
You watch. We'll have our dev meeting tomorrow, and you'll show up, and you'll be like, guys, we need to push that up the list.
Yeah.
You'll be like, guys, trust me, we need it. I need it. So
that needs to be the top of the list while I'm in the States.
So yeah,
scrap everything else.
That'll definitely be a good update. I'm looking forward to that. But yeah, no, I've enjoyed the way we've gone about this, Tom. I think for time wise, I think we're going to be starting this a little bit earlier. I think it's because you're in Boston that we're doing it a little bit later, so you don't have to. So
don't make me
maybe
up at 6 a.m., please. 7 a.m. is already tough enough.
So yeah, no, I'm excited for that. I think once we lock in a time, you're going to start locking down some times, and we're going to be running like this for the rest of the season, which I'm super excited about.
Absolutely. We'll have the Twitter room great pod this week. Up and running. Dante XML, no, don't say that. He's not a good pod at all. He's going to get locked up. But yeah, we're going to do it bigger than better. We're going to refine this, do it, as we want. But one thing we'll definitely do, we'll have the Twitter room running next week. So if you just want to listen along, we'll have that going. We'll have everything out on our socials, and we're going to put up a player card that we're going to give out for the Coach's Corner segment next round, which we'll announce that on our socials. So definitely keep an eye out. Thanks to all the legends that came to our first live show. Yeah, this is going to be the new way we do it. Straight after the round, we'll give you the best. And then, of course, we'll have our live on Thursday afternoons as well, where we'll show you our squads. We'll talk about some of our rankings for the round. But, Cal, it's been long. It's been a good one. I like the format, mate. And, yeah, let's rip in, hey? Up the Celtics. Let's go. Celtics in 5.
Celtics in 5. Oh, man. Happy for you. But Celtics can have whatever they want as long as we get rid of Ken. How about we make that deal? Done?
Done.
Beautiful. We'll end on that.
Land on that. And we'll end on this. Thank you, Finn McInnes. Troy Boston. Haley for me. Lobster rolls. Yeah, they love their lobster rolls in Boston. They do. That's something that, you know what? Just for you, mate. Just for you. And Desync. This is the energy I need. I need some good love. Yes. Wrap up the show. Good luck with your team. Thanks, mate. I appreciate you. Appreciate you all for coming out. And we'll catch all you legends in the next one. Peace out,
See ya.
everybody.